As the Ryder Cup gets closer, Zach Johnson says two things are going to tell us if Tiger Woods is going to be able to play after all. And the first factor is the burning question we've all got. Is he competitive enough? Well, that's questionable. First off, Woods has played about 9 rounds of competitive golf ever since his car accident in February 2021. And you gotta admit, it was pretty brutal, considering the severe injuries he got.
I feel I'm lucky to be alive. Eventually I got to a point where they could wheelchair me outside safely and I could feel the sun. That was a milestone.
But fans could hardly wait for his comeback. So, well, he finally made his long-awaited return to the PGA Tour just last year in April 2022. And this was right after competing at the Masters. In fact, following his return at Augusta, the 15-time major champion gave fans the heartbreaking news they weren't expecting. He confirmed his playing career is going to be a part-time one.
I proved to myself in practice that I'm good enough. I'll chip and putt any of these guys. I'm very, very grateful that someone upstairs was taking care of me.
Sure, you'd see that coming right after an accident and break like that. But come on, this is Tiger Woods we're talking about. And this man doesn't let anything get in the way. As for 2023, we're still not sure what events he's going to enter. And even though we all got to take a step back on our expectations after his reduced playing plans, it seems like Ryder Cup skipper Johnson hasn't completely ruled out the champion's chances of making the American team in Rome this year. In fact, he said that he'd only contemplate having him on the time if he puts up some amazing numbers and scores.
It only took 2 to get to Tiger, didn't it? I'll say this. Tiger, I would say over the last 7-8 years, given who he is and what he's all about, I can tell you right now, he will be a part of this team to some capacity. I can't put this mildly. He loves the Ryder Cup. He and I will be in constant communication. I will welcome that.
In short, I'm pretty sure we all just want to know if he's got the fire in him anymore. But there's another factor that's going to determine his return. Are the other guys in the team ready for Woods? Well, now that's a discussion Johnson needs to have. At the same time, he mentioned that if there's anything he trusts in Woods, it's his investment in the team and the Cups. And wouldn't you agree? I, for one, think he's pretty invested. If anything, that's one of the best things about him. Another thing I love about Woods is that he's never gonna leave you hanging. In fact, Johnson appreciated that too, because hey, the man's never gonna rely on assumption. Instead, he's gonna tell you straight away, yeah, I can play, or no, I can't. And it seems like this wasn't really the last we've seen of him, because he's still gonna be involved in some capacity. Now that's even if he isn't really fit to play, which is most likely the case here, because let's be honest, Tiger Woods isn't ready to leave anytime soon. Sure, we want to see the raging Tiger back in the sport, the very same one we've seen all along. But even if that doesn't work out, we're just glad he's still going to be around for a much-awaited glimpse of the champion. Having said that, this is exactly why Johnson isn't ruling Woods out of the US Ryder Cup team yet. On the other hand, I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty skeptical about this. If anything, I feel Woods' health is going to complicate things more than we think. He's gone through some things that are going to make a lot of stuff difficult. In fact, the injury has definitely had a significant impact on his career, especially his playing time. He's not the same as he was before the accident in February 2021. On top of that, the 47-year-old even withdrew from the Hero World Challenge back in December because of his foot pain. And let's just say, if you pay a little bit more attention, you'll see a bunch of times where the champion struggled with some sort of movement throughout the 7th edition of the match that month. So maybe it's time we kept realistic expectation. And Woods said something like that. We'll be playing the tour one day, but never full-time. If anything, you've got to pick and choose, just like Ben Hogan did. So here's what he's focusing on from now onwards. A few events a year with enough time to practice. Sure, it's pretty unfortunate, but that's the reality. And while Woods has a hard time accepting it, I know all of you fans aren't going to easily digest this news either. But on the bright side, we're still going to see him around for a couple of events every year. And during the off time, he'll be able to practice and gear up for the next next upcoming event. As of now, the biennial competition, which alternates between the US and Europe, none other than the Ryder Cup, is going to be played in Italy for the very first time this year. So we're hoping Woods has it on the top of his list. After all, it's going to happen between September 25th to October 1st. So there's plenty of time to practice and hopefully regain his health until done. And let's just say Team US has pretty much regained the Ryder Cup ever since 2021, right after a pretty dominant performance over Europe at Whistling Straits. But enough about that, because here's an unfortunate update from the man himself. The goal is the major championship, or maybe one more. That's it. It's a new year, new season, new schedules, and we've been waiting long enough to witness his competitive edge once again. But after a few setbacks throughout the year, we're just gonna see him in a couple of more championships, maybe just one or two. At the same time, his next goal is going to be the Genesis Invitational that's coming up sooner than you think. In fact, it's scheduled for February 2023. And to do that, he's already set himself apart from about every event after the PNC Championship last year. And according to Jack Hirsch of Gold Magazine, a couple of other tournaments are going to fit in with Woods' schedule. And one of them is the Arnold Palmer Invitational coming up in March. On the other hand, I wouldn't get my hopes up if I were you, because we're still not sure if he's even ready to make a comeback before April this year. Sure, he'll get a month off right before a bunch of major events like Masters, and the Memorial is about 2 weeks before the US Open. Needless to say, the PGA stalwart might play in the Players' Championship in March. And because we already know about his injuries and limitations, it's time he made his final decision. Because if you think about it, he'll need to pick one of the three upcoming events: the Genesis, API, and Memorial. Which one do you think he should pick? Because let's not forget, his decisions now are going to significantly impact his career on every turn. And while we're at it, I think we shouldn't forget that he's also preparing his son Charlie to join him on the golf course soon.
Beautiful golf swing here, guys.
You got the best seat in the house, Norton.
I do. I'm very lucky to be out here. Beautiful shot.
Just unfazed by all the cameras and all the attention. It's just, he's just playing like he's playing with his pals back home.
Or maybe even replace him one day. Because let's be honest, Woods isn't going to be around forever. And considering how things seem for the champion right now, I think he's going to call it quits sooner than we think. Maybe that's one factor in his mind too. On top of that, Charlie seems like a pretty talented kid too. And soon enough, the young golfer is going to start following in his father's footsteps. In fact, I think the 13-year-old is becoming a pro at handling the media too.
It was great dealing with Dad after working so hard to get here. And everyone just great around us. It was just awesome. Just staying in your own mind and just kind of focusing on what you're doing.
So it might be a matter of time before he continues his father's legacy. Or at least that's what I'm hoping for, because I don't want to see Woods leave so soon either. And I'm pretty sure neither do you. So whether Woods decides to participate in one championship or three, there's just one question I have for you. What are you expecting from Woods if he comes back on the golf course?
Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and we'll see you in the next one.